I will be giving you my 2 cents. I am happy to say that I am still alive. I successfully did my, well, unsuccessfully did my 100K run. I got a time of, I did about half the run in about 9 hours in general. I got the information on in the comment section. So this is just basically a general recap of what's going on. I'm up to, and I'm gonna clean my kitchen and get ready for my next run. I'm going to. My plan is to finish the run. So I pretty much started the My 2 Cent Runday so that I could. I wanted to. I say this 1,000 times. I'll say it again. I started My 2 Cents so I could have an intellectual conversation online. But I dealt with a lot of adversities in life, and that made it really difficult. I wanted to be able to like hang out and socialize and talk about science and philosophy and all that stuff. And there was a small community on the internet of people that were engaged in that, and they're still there. But there's no real synergy of it. It's just some people come in with some philosophy, and then they wind up getting booted out of conversations or discourse by the masses of people that want to just laugh, joke, and have fun on the internet. And so that's pretty much what happened. And then life was just difficult. I couldn't really do the things that I was trying to do because of adversities. And then I wound up having to enlist in the military. And then after I got in the military, I just decided, well, after I got married and my wife decided to treat me like shit, I decided, you know what? I'm tired of pretending like life is a certain way. Life is this way, and life is only going to be this way, and I need to focus on the actual adversities that exist instead of pretending like they don't exist, and then spinning my wheels only to have people complain. Well, not people, only to have people not empathize with the adversities and the struggle. So that's pretty much where we are, why we are where we are now. I started Runday because I was really seriously trying to build my channel, and the biggest conflict that I was having was my inability to be consistent. Not because I'm not a consistent person, but because there are things in life that have to be prioritized over the things that you want. So the things that I have to do, like washing dishes, have to be prioritized over things that I want to do. And I wasn't able to sit down and invest the time and energy I needed into designing or into making video content because of everything else, all the other life stressors were taking priority and taking up my time. So one of the things that I was doing consistently when I got out of the military was I was consistently going my 2 miles. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to put together this document on how to use science to run and be all successful in life. I'm going to call it the My 2 Cent Life System, and then I'm going to put together this document. I'm going to show people how to use data and how to track data and how to apply science as a discipline to their life so that we can start being more empirical and stop utilizing beliefs to not get anything done and not to achieve any goals. And then I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Then my brain was like, how do you expect people to accept that you are running and that the data that you're providing is true and accurate? I was like, well, I'll just do it. If I just tell them that I'm in this, like, but my brain was like, but they don't listen. Nobody listens. Like, you're sitting here saying, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. You're sitting here saying that you're going to go for a 2 mile run and then gather all this data and then tell people that you did this 2 mile run and that you collected this data and this is how you use this data to do science. Like, they've never listened, so why would they listen now? And so my brain realized, one of the most important parts of science is peer review, the capacity by which you perform an experiment that somebody else can also perform. So if you can figure out a way to show yourself running, then that would be a peer review. And I was like, that's a great idea, but how do I do that? And so I started live streaming my runs. I just started going live on YouTube and running down the street like a crazy person and just live streaming. And so this is the second year that I've been doing it. The first 2 mile run, the first 63 mile, this first 62-mile run that I did in 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025, I ran for 11 miles continuously, and then I walked back to my car, which was about 23 miles. And my phone died. My watch didn't die, so the data wasn't perfect. This run, I wanted to really make sure that I recorded the whole thing, including me driving to Burger King and getting corrupted data on my watch. I got a 1 minute, 3 mile going to get food. But I mean, that's part of not having a good solid plan, right? Like, if you're gonna do something in life and you don't plan properly for it, you're not gonna be as successful as you need to be. And that's the whole point of the Microsoft Life System. I made great plans. What is the saying? I like King Cole, quoting King Cole from The Flash. What is it? How do you do it? Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go sideways, and then throw away the plan. And that's what happened. I had this great idea. I'm gonna run all year. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna get strong, and then I'm gonna just go out like a crazy person and run 62 miles. And everything's gonna be smooth and easy. That was me making a plan. Me running for the whole year, 3 days, every 3 days for the year. For every 3 days, I would try to run 2 miles on top of working 40 hours a week. That was executing the plan. And then when I got out there and I started running and the fireworks are going off and it's cold and it's raining and I'm miserable and I'm tired and my body hurts because I'm 15 miles in and I thought I'm at the 40-mile mark. That's the plan going off the rails. And then when I realized the last time I ate was at 7 p.m., I started running at 12 a.m. and it's 10 a.m. in the morning and the sun is out and I'm hungry. Maybe it's time to go get some food. You know, if I was driving my car somewhere and my car tank showed me that it was on E, I wouldn't just keep driving my car. I would stop and go get gas. So I figured, hey, let's just go get some food. And so I did that. I went to get food and body shut down. That was the end of the run. That brought the run to about 51 miles. I think I ran probably 47 miles. And I think the other last 2 or 3 miles was probably me just driving to Burger King. But I didn't want my watch to reset again, so I just kept it on. I figured the watch would have known that if I'm going like 15 miles an hour down the street, then I'm probably not running. But it didn't. It just calculated the time. So it's just the other cool thing about, in the context of what I'm doing, the other really cool thing about that when it comes to the data collection component is that's just noise, right? Like whenever you do science and if you're ever doing an experiment and you're collecting data, sometimes your data is not perfect. So we know why I have a 3-minute 1 mile, but in the data collection process, sometimes you have noise. So that's just the noise. That's literally just the actual, it's just an abnormality or an anomaly in the actual data collection process. So without full transparency, then you don't know why there's a 3-minute 1 mile. But good science is about full transparency. So I got in my car and it's recorded. Like, why pretend like I didn't get my car and drive to Burger King when it's recorded? Like, I recorded it. You can see the 8-hour stream. So, like, there's no reason to even pretend like it didn't happen. So, and this is the main reason why I moved away from religion. Like, I don't want to make this a anti-Christianity, anti-Islam rant. But this is the main reason why I moved away from it. Because why can't you just do things in life and be successful or fail at it and then learn and grow and evolve as we are designed to? You're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be able to achieve your goal. You don't have to perfectly achieve your goal. You just got to achieve your goal. Why is it so freaking important that everyone does everything exactly the way it's supposed to be perfectly all the time, every freaking day? But the world is shit. The world is shit. Every time you go outside and walk around, the world is shit. They were like, we need perfection. We need perfection. We need this. We need that. You got to do it exactly this way. Everything has to be done exactly this way. Okay. Look at the environment that we're living in. All that shit that you're saying don't fucking matter because look at the world. When you step outside, look at the world. Flat earthers are like, the world is flat. Okay. The world may or may not be flat. But what are we going to do about the homeless people that we walk by? What are we going to do about all of the inequality? What are we gonna do about the way that girls and women are being treated every day? Like, what are we gonna do about the actual issues of this world? You know, like, so. My phone just covered up what you said. I don't want to try it. Stop. Well, I was gonna read it, but my phone decided to do the thing. I try to be cool. I'm trying more and more to move back into a cool space. When I went into the military, I wound up transforming into an asshole because that's what it takes to be a soldier, and I needed to pay my child support, so I didn't have the option to quit. I didn't want to be there, but I didn't have the option to quit. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna have to do what I'm just gonna have to do what has to be done to be the person that I want to be. Because I'm very much pro. The world we live in is a little broken. And I'm gonna say that. Well, the world's not broken. The world functions exactly the way that it's designed to function. It's just like a forest, an ecosystem. All of the organisms in the ecosystem is what defines the ecosystem. So everything that's in the ecosystem is why the ecosystem exists, right? Jungles have jungle trees, and that's why they're a jungle. Pine trees and pine cones are what form the Confucius. I'm gonna say this word wrong, but that's what forms like the Confucius forest. And or maybe it's conifer. I don't know. I'm saying the word wrong. It starts with a C. It means leaves that have resin and not water. And they're evergreens. They live 24 hours. They live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So those forests are defined by them. And then you have perennials and annuals forests where they undergo seasonal change, and those trees lose their leaves in the winter, and they become like this bark, and then their trees go back in the summer. So those are the conditions that form an ecosystem. The ecosystem is defined by what it supports. An ecosystem is defined by the things that it supports as well as those things supporting it. So when you look at the world, our world is defining its values. And when you see the world is a consequence of the foundation that gives rise to those things. So I, as a scientist, hold religion, all of them, accountable for the inequality of the world because religions claim they are the answer to those problems. So if you are the answer to those problems and those problems persist, the environment is a consequence of the reality of the world. So if religions are saying we exist to make the world better, and the world's not better, science doesn't exist to make the world better. Science exists to make the world easier to operate in and to function in. And you see this dishwasher? Science, baby. So that's why I'm pro. That's why I'm pro science. So yeah, that's pretty much the update. My overall 100K was not successful, but my 2-cent Runday, train every 3 days to try to run to be successful, was very much successful. And self-improvement and self-education. My last run was 21 miles, and this run was 51 miles. So we'll say 46 miles. We'll give or take 5 miles since I was driving down the street trying to get food. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then there's all these systems that I'm working on. I'm building a base 10 clock, base 10 calendar. There's a Q&A system to help you grow into who you're trying to become. And there's a lot of stuff I'm trying to do. I just gotta keep working on it. Just gotta make sure I don't throw away the plan. And typically when I run, I don't have the time to talk to the chat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start Runday. I'm gonna start the chat, and then we can socialize for a little while. and then after the Runday pre-chat, then it'll go into the Runday chat. So that way I can engage a little bit better. Instead of always just saying, yeah, I'm running, and I don't have time to talk to you guys because I got to get this run in. So, I'm also working on another project for this channel. It's going to be called School of Thought. That should be going live here pretty soon. Hopefully within the next week at the minimum. That should be pretty interesting, so we can actually start having conversations about philosophy. And spoiler, I have this series called How It Works, where I'm talking about impulse drives and hazard drives, thrusters. They are based on speculative science fiction, but I wanted to describe as fashion like technology and spaceships in general. I'm writing a story about it that deals with science fiction. And one of the things that I had wanted to, welcome to the stream. One of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to explain, or one of the things that I have done is I have this science fiction. It's called Ultra Heavy Water. It's an alternate universe, and in this universe, the principles of the principles of aerodynamics apply to the vacuum of space. So, the same way that spaceships are able to fly through the atmosphere, it's the same way that airplanes can fly through the atmosphere, is the way that spaceships can fly through space. So, the same way that a propeller prop plane, like the ones the Wright brothers built, are able to have a prop spinning and they can use that to fly through the air, you can, in this alternate universe, you can use those same principles and fly through space, right? You can spin a prop and it'll actually pull in a vacuum of space and you can fly through space. Now, the way that it works in the story is it's a speed thing. The faster you spin the prop in space, the better you're able to generate thrust. And since there's such low drag and volume, since there's such a low drag and low mass, you're able to generate substantial thrust from substantial prop velocity, right? So I'm saying all that because that's how I describe how the thrusters, the impulse drives, and the thrusters, the hazard drive, and the impulse drive works. What I'm going to be doing, and this is pretty cool, once I have the money figured out, I'm going to build the working principles of how I want those engines to work in reality. Like, I'm going to physically engineer the way that the ships work. And I could go into detail and explain and theorize about it, but I'm going to wait until later. I'm just letting you guys know that I'm going to get into RC crafting, and I'm going to build this really interesting ship. It should be pretty cool. It's not going to be able to travel faster than the speed of light. It's not going to be a spaceship. It's going to just be a theorized framework. To outline the working principles, give me vehicle power, my impulse drives, and hazard drives. It's going to be awesome. That's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else. I will be going outside here soon to run like a crazy person again. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everything. I'll keep giving you guys I am gonna try to make a commitment to provide more Runday data feedback. I have the Galaxy Ring, the Galaxy Watch, and my phone. I use the phone I'm recording with. I use the Samsung Health app to record the data and track everything. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Dishes are done. Apartment's still a mess. So, but yeah, unless you guys have anything for me, as always, my name is Paul Emerson, and I'm giving you my 2 cents. And within probably about 45 minutes to an hour from now, I'm gonna go do another Runday. So just, just say hi and like the video or whatever. And as always, I'm giving you my 2 cents.